Hi, I'm Gary Mendez, and today I'm here with founder and CEO of TDA, Goran Deak. Can you talk to us a little bit about what you've learned since starting TDA?
We definitely learned a lot of things from the beginning of the idea about the TDA, and from just the first thoughts we had about the market problem and everything that we were trying to solve with TDA until now. And it's definitely something that it's ever evolving and going into the future. So what we learned until now is an interesting thing. We started now 2 years ago, and there we had an idea where we serve the market of digital transformation, which means that on one side you have customers who are looking for digital services, on the other side you have companies offering those digital services. We call those companies digital agencies, right? So we wanted to help people to quickly transform and solve their digital needs, and not only that, but also get an easy access to talent, not from the perspective of talent in a freelance form, but from the perspective of talent in a company-based form. So we were looking at different examples of what people need in different scenarios, and what we saw is a couple of things. So one of the major things we saw that companies need agencies when moving to new markets, especially when they are moving into a market which on the language which they don't speak. So that was a pretty interesting study for us, case study for us. The next one was, I would say, a totally different one, because it was looking for someone who is the next door, basically agency for them, and they need someone who has the quality and the experience they expect from the agency delivering their project. So we really saw a wide span of the need from the clients and what the clients wanted from the agencies. But at the same time, we saw that we are pretty short on the lifetime value when just going out and trying to sell to companies. Because if you think about it, for the agency it may seem like a super easy job what TDA is doing. You just go out, you find the companies that need projects, and you go back and you deliver those projects on TDA, and agencies apply, right? But if you think about it a little bit, how many times a company in a lifespan of 2 years, how many digital services they need? Is it two? Is it four? It of course depends on the size and the budget of the companies and the markets and etc. But it's not that many, right? So for us, as TDA, it's extremely challenging to go out and find the companies in the exact precise moment when the need arises. You would either have to have a humongous budget, as some sites that are working with freelancers have, such as Upwork, where you have a very big marketing budget, and then you can be the whole time informing the customers about what they can offer and how they can offer freelancers. For us, it's the same thing, but for companies. And unfortunately, as a company, we are a much younger company and not as big as Upwork, which means that we have to do a smarter way, a more intelligent way of trying to do the same thing, but basically with less money. And that's what we are doing for our agencies. So we are going in front of a lot of companies, in front of a lot of doors. We have to be physically and mentally really strong, because it means that we have to chase you for those couple of moments in your life of 1 year or 2 years in the company, and we have to hit it right. So we actually do a really strong sales outreach for the agencies, and currently we have 38 different business verticals on our platform, which means that they vary from different services which agencies can offer. And sometimes, we can find different projects, but sometimes the clients have multiple projects that are, I don't know, web development, for example, or social media, or digital advertising, or PR. But we can't control what the project will be. So it would be easy for me to say, okay, we're gonna just create 38 projects for every single business vertical, but unfortunately, in real life, it doesn't work like that. But going back, how we will create that and how agencies can create it with us is basically by producing content and everything they can do on TDA. So if we have a quality source of information from the agencies, which means quality information about what agencies are doing, quality articles talking about things that excite the agency. If we are talking about quality case studies they done with the clients, then our job finding projects for them, not only projects but doing all the other benefits which agencies expect from us, such as exposure, such as strong place where their professionalism and their expertise can be seen. It's a symbiosis of agencies and TDA. So this is something what agencies sometimes forget, or sometimes we communicate it less than we should do. But at the same time, this is a really important thing to understand and to do for the agencies. So I think the most important thing that we learned is that we need to be vocal about things that we are doing for the agencies and for the companies, and set the expectations right. And share those expectations and create a symbiotical relationship with both the agencies and the companies, so everybody has the best experience.
Everybody has to bring something to the table. The agencies,
Exactly.
The project might be easy to bring, but there are other things that need to be brought. Is that correct?
Exactly. So that's the most important thing, which both companies and agencies need to understand. If you are posting a project and you're looking for an agency, it's really important that you explain why you need that agency. So don't do like 3 sentences and expect that you're gonna get quality feedback from the agencies. You have to explain it a little bit. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be a super technical or strategic person which will explain everything in a strong detail. You just need to put it in your words and say what you want to get. And then for the agency, it's gonna be easier to understand what you want from them and what you expect from them, and the likelihood of having a great experience is that much higher. On the agency side though, agencies are really I'm asking them personally to create a strong portfolio on their profiles. So we gave them a freemium model, which means they can do it for free. They don't have to pay a cent, and they can build a really strong case for themselves. If they build a strong case for themselves, they bring strong case for all the clients and TDA. And then TDA is super strong for them. So if they want that we are as strong as we should be for them, showing exposure for them, doing advertising for them, getting them clients, they need to understand they have to show their agencies on TDA at the best light they can. And when and if we have that, when we have those examples, then we see a really great cases of companies coming and consuming agencies content. We see great examples of clients and agencies connecting, and we see just great examples of agencies getting out there and spreading the word what they do best.
Okay, so let's start talking a little bit about how agencies can build their reputations and really bolster their reputations. Currently, how they do it, and maybe some of the challenges that they face in doing so.
Yeah, of course. To really understand the agencies, you have to be one of them, right? So, and I think we have a really strong case here because we were a digital agency, and basically TDA was created from a digital agency where I exited the agency and started the TDA project as a standalone project. But it started its life as an agency, right? And how the ideas came in and how we basically architected TDA was in mindset of what agencies need to be able to get successfully to those clients and to get their chances as high as possible when pitching to those clients. So the foundation of why TDA was created is to create a strong all-in-one place where the agencies can lay out the most meaningful and most important information which they need to have when pitching in front of the client, which means all information about the agency and the project that they're doing, articles which talk about in an easy readable and digestible format about things that excite them, things that they think it's exciting on the market, things that they're doing good, and just things that they're following. And that is something that's for the mass majority of people who just want to go there and see quality content and consume the quality content. That's super important. On top of that, what we created for the agencies are the case studies and reviews. So case studies and reviews are the ones that circle the picture around. What that means basically is that the case study helps you to create a successful example of the work that you did with a client, and not only do that, but also go to the client and ask them if they can review what you wrote in easy digestible format for everybody who is looking at your agency profile, so they know that your work is legit. One of the major questions that we are getting, like in most cases, clients are asking us when we are prompting them, clients are asking us, how can you tell me if the agency is good or bad? And we always tell the same thing. Look, our agencies have case studies which they review with the clients, and with that we get basically the approval from the client that they did a good job. And this is extremely important for the agencies to understand and have on their profiles. While if we are talking about the market currently, you have a pretty fragmented market, which means that if you're creating content, you have to go to one place. If you're trying to do the case studies, you go to the other place, and reviews and testimonials, you go to the third place. If you want to lay out the information and just be listed for your agency, you go to the fourth place. So there is a lot of places on the internet currently that are partially competing with us and trying to do something what we are building. But to truly understand how that comes together, as again, going to the beginning, you have to be one of them. You have to be one of the agencies, and I was that. And just from that, I saw like what we need to have, what's the perfect mix of information and assets that we need to have, so the agency has the best chance of having a tool when going out to their clients. So what that means basically is I take everything what I have on TDA, so reviews, articles, everything about my agency, and I don't use it only exclusively for people who visit TDA and who visit their profiles, or people who end up leaving the projects. No. The most important thing that I wanted to build was that agencies can use it for all the times that they're outside of TDA and pitching towards a client. So I wanted to create an easy digestible one place where they can find all the information they need, which is relevant and it comes from source and position of authority, which TDA is now, with almost 7,000 agencies currently at this day, coming from more than 120 countries. So we have a really strong point of telling who is good or who is not good. Going back to that pitching moment, agencies need all the possible advantages and tools that they can get to have that small gap in the quality and small gap in what they're doing, so the client gets impressed. And I think TDA is a really strong point which gives them that tool, and they should really use it. And that's, from my perspective, one of the crucial things what TDA built for them, because I built it ultimately for myself and for my agency, and I used it for my advantage early days, and that's why I really believe that it can help all the other agencies on the market. So this is one crucial thing, and this is the cause why we built everything that we built and how it functions now. But the effect of that is, because you have a good profile, because you have really good case studies which are verified by the clients, because you have great articles which talk about things that excite you, you now have a really strong case for everybody who visits TDA, right? You have a really strong case for everybody who ends up leaving projects with TDA. They end up leaving projects with TDA because you made a great content, because you made a great agency profile which has a really strong point why somebody should go and reach out to that agency. And this is what TDA is, and this is what TDA is striving to be, right? It's striving to be a one place with multiple effects stacking on top of each other.
So, in essence, it's that persona that you build, or that profile that you build on TDA, that is doing the work for you when you're not on TDA, when people aren't on TDA.
Yeah, I would say that agencies currently are not really using the chance as they should, and this is a really strong thing that they can do and they can build on TDA, is that strong persona and portfolio they can build and wrap and then show it to their clients. Because that is something that's easily digestible. We created a format which is easily digestible, and we asked a lot of people, a lot of companies how to do it, and we created a format which basically delivers that. and they should use it, and they should go out and they should use it not only when what can I get from TDA, and I won't do anything aside from my name, because we are not miracle makers. If you just post your name and you post your HQ address, we can't do miracles with that, right? Nor we can prove to all the clients that are asking us the questions, is this agency good or not? We can't answer, right? But if you have a great profile and everything that I just said, then we can really vouch for you. We can vouch for you, the client vouches for you, and when you go out and try to pitch and win the business, you have a really strong point, and nobody can tell me otherwise, right? So that's it.
So now, taking a look at things from the other side, or perhaps from a different angle, if you're a company who's also trying to build a reputation and you have services, a B2B company, that you have services for other kinds of companies, you can use TDA as well. Are they going to use it the same way, do you think, or are there differences, should they have differences in their approach?
This is a really interesting question because it's an ever-evolving thing that we see at TDA. We started exclusively on the agencies, and the clients could only produce projects, right? They can only post and create a project. But what we saw that we have a lot of cases where there's something that we call a circle of dependency, which means that both sides can consume from each other, and the relationship is mutual. So as the agency can offer their services to the clients, to the companies, so the companies can offer their services and goods and products to the agencies, right? Because agencies are also companies which need to consume different things. Agencies are also a company where people live inside with their digitized personas. So we saw that our lifetime value on the company side was pretty low, because we were just aiming at that one moment on the company lifespan where you need a project. But we actually saw the potential is much bigger and the interest is there. So what we are continuously now building on TDA is we are trying to bridge the gap and get basically the company and the agency closer together. And with that in mind, companies can now create public profiles as the same way as the agencies can do. They can create articles and case studies the same way as the agencies can do, because ultimately it's a digital service, it's a digital product. The understanding and the consuming of that is the same, right? And ultimately the exchange of those services and everybody who is visiting TDA and going is interested in digital services, digital goods, knowing more about digital in general. So it has a really strong point why to be on TDA. And TDA saw that, and saw that with that it can expand on both ends. It can help agencies get a better lifetime value, it can help companies get a better lifetime value, and when we have that circle of dependency, then we have an even stronger case. And this is what TDA is trying to be now. TDA is trying to be all things digital.
Tell me a little bit about your vision for the next 6 to 12 months of TDA and where you think we're going.
I would say this is becoming more and more exciting, what TDA is doing and where TDA is going, from a perspective of multiple reasons. One of those being basically TDA is evolving now and getting closer with the companies and with the agencies coming together now, with their lifespans coming closer and closer together. And ultimately this is what TDA is driving. So we are now seeing that we have a really strong case with companies and agencies needing each other in a circle format, not one-sided format, and we are building that. So we are building a really strong relationship point, what TDA needs to be, and we are from the beginning a really strong all-in-one reputation management tool, which means basically we help agencies get the best out of them outside and get their chances as high as possible. But what we are evolving now is that we're gonna do the same thing for companies. And this is the exciting thing for us. So companies, on top of their usual thing that they can do and find a really great agencies, they will be able now to also promote their services and also get out there and spread the word. And TDA saw the potential. TDA saw the potential of that happening on the market for multiple reasons around us, with a strong push towards digitalization now, and strong push, I would say stronger than ever push now and today, and that's going to continue to happen. So we have to react, we have to adapt, and we have to offer to the public and to our users and to our customers the thing that they need. And this is what TDA is doing in the next 6 to 12 months. It's getting closer to our customers, and it's making sure that our customers are getting closer to each other. And this is the TDA goal.
So is the challenge for really everyone from startups to agencies to established companies in digital transformation, is it really about being a more collaborative team and having a more collaborative effort?
Of course, I would say it doesn't matter if you're a small company, big company, startup, enterprise, the challenges are always the same, you know. And with everything that we have around and where the world is now evolving towards, we'll have that challenge growing even bigger. And one of those reasons why it's getting bigger and bigger is that the internet is becoming, bulkier and bulkier and a more a place with more and more and more information. So what we saw at TDA is that as the internet grows, so the need for specialized niche platforms like us becomes bigger and bigger and ever evolving, because if we are now just Googling and trying to do, Google research, it's really struggling already now because of the sheer size of the information it can provide. And what TDA is doing, it's being true to its roots, and it's being all things digital, right? So our topic, our company will always stay in that format. It is gonna stay in digital services, digital goods, digital products, right? And that really creates a strong persona, a strong place on the internet, which is vocal for everybody who is inside and for everybody who is visiting. And that's, again, going back where TDA sees itself in 12 months and continuing from there.
As really as digital technology really expands, and it's an interesting irony, right? That as technology expands and people on the agency side get more and more niche and more specific, on the flip side, the challenge is companies need to be more and more holistic and bring in more and more partners. Is that what we're seeing?
Exactly. With moving into new flexible models, you need, of course, think about new ways how the business model works. And what we see is that, especially with bigger companies and enterprises, they're trying to be more flexible on the market, not only externally towards their customers, but also internally how they develop things, right? This is a really strong challenge for traditional companies, big enterprises, which are pretty rigid with their formats and pretty slow moving, because there's a huge chain of command which you need to go through. And one of the things that they're seeing now, that is becoming a bigger and bigger problem, because you need to be more dynamic and more flexible on the market today. And it's just gonna be more and more dynamic and more flexible, so they're now trying to react to it. I personally made a mistake. I thought they would do it faster, and it's still pretty slow moving. But with everything happening on the planet, they're now realizing that they need to ramp up the speed also. And one of the things how you can ramp up the speed is like you can take a big chunk and make it smaller, because then you have a lot more moving pieces. So it's not only one piece that it's either moving or not. You have multiple pieces that are moving around. And that's basically what's currently happening, both on the agency market and also on the services. You had only one general partner which would delivered all the services for your company, or you had one just general, CRM or ERP tool or whatever, which was basically one place where your company went to. And now you see companies using multiple tools and different tools and being more proactive about using them, which is all happening because everything how the world is reacting, and how not only the customers but also the employees inside the companies are now thinking and breathing and living. Because 10 years ago you couldn't imagine that you would spend the majority of your day looking at a screen and typing, and let alone looking at a smaller screen like a mobile screen. But this is what people are doing. And if you're taking a look at the new generations that are coming and now in the breach of their strength, it's even more pronounced, right? So all the enterprises, be it small, big, startups, need to think like that now, need to think in a more flexible and dynamical way. And the only way how they can deliver that, if they're gonna be like that on the outside but also on the inside. And TDA helps a lot with that, because it provides options and opportunities like really fast and in a easy digestible manner. And this is again going back the strength of TDA when you're digitizing, and digitizing was never as important as today.
So going ahead a little bit, you talked about, right, like 10 years ago, things have drastically changed. Not asking you to predict the future of digital technology, but 10 years from now, how do you think people will really, what are some of the adjectives you think people use to describe TDA and their relationship with TDA?
I really believe that TDA will be what I said multiple times in the interview before, all things digital. It's gonna be the place where you go for any type of digital needs. And when people have a really strong source of a quality information which TDA is building, then they have comfort in doing so. And this is why we are calling all of our companies and agencies to be really, really prompt about creating a really strong case for themselves, because only like that they will have chance on not only TDA but also on the market that is evolving now. And TDA again doesn't want to be the whip on their end. It wants to be the guiding hand, and it wants to be the power that ultimately helps their case being even stronger. All of their qualities and expertises being even more pronounced and even more vocal on the market.
You used an interesting word there too, source. I think that's crucial. That for TDA to be a source, content is necessary, right? Everybody has to bring something.
Exactly, content is super necessary, and it's necessary for multiple of reasons. So like one important reason why content is king, is because it's an easy digestible format for people to go through. And there you create potential. So it's not only for people who are considering of buying, it's also for people who are educating themselves, who are trying to find out more. And guess what? If you're educating yourself and I'm the source, the likelihood of you using later my technology, my company, my product, my service is that much higher, right? So if I want to make sure that I have people that will be using my company, my service, my product, then I need to create a good source of future potentials. And articles, case studies are really, really good thing that it can deliver what you want.
So with over 2,000 companies on board, with over 7,000 agencies on board in over 120 countries, it's a lot of outreach, a lot of contacts, a lot of data, right, that you can gather there. How do you think you can use that to better things for TDA?
Yeah, this is what TDA really makes interesting and really strong from the perspective of how we can make it better for our customers. And this is how we basically learn what our customers want, need, and where the market is going towards. You said there's more than 7,000 agencies and 2,000 companies on board, and that's a really quality sample already that we can see a different type of services being needed or being consumed. We can also see where the market demand is growing or getting smaller, and all of that is currently being used on TDA to try to make our product even better for all the customers on TDA. Not only that, and for everybody who is visiting TDA. So we are trying to spread, not only keep that knowledge for ourselves, but also spread that knowledge and make that knowledge vocal and public, because it's gonna benefit and help everybody who wants to know more about digital, and it's gonna help companies to make a better informed decision. And with TDA growing by the day, our information quality is getting better and better. So one of the things that I can promise in the future for everybody who is using TDA and all the customers of TDA, that will have better and better and better information about what the market is, where it's moving, how it's reacting, and what does it need. And I think personally, going back and looking into my agency and company days, that this is a really strong point for TDA, because it really helps to guide the companies where they need to be. And going back, why people should go for TDA and use TDA and be really, spending their effort there and using that effort outside and getting and catching that clients, because all of that generalized knowledge that we have and all of that information that we gather ultimately will go back to our customers in line with making their decisions even better than they are today. So again, this is where TDA is moving. TDA is moving into all things digital, And one of the things with moving into all things digital and being all things digital is knowing all things digital. And this is what our information is getting us. And this is what TDA is going towards. Being a powerful tool, not only for your reputation, but also to make your decision making even stronger.
Thank you, Goran. That really encapsulates things, and I appreciate you taking the time to speak with us today.
Yeah, thank you. And one final message that I would want to send to all of our customers and everybody who is looking and consuming TDAs, you're helping us a lot to make yourself really powerful and really vocal on the market, and thank you for that. And TDA is trying to repay that effort back by going outside and talking about all of our customers. And one of the things what TDA will definitely need in the future and is calling upon all of our customers is it's gonna need that symbiotic relationship to continue and be even stronger and stronger. So I call everybody who has any ideas, any suggestions, or anything that they want to see from TDA to reach out to us and talk to us, because we would be happy to listen.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you.